So what you will need to make this triangle top and thong is fabric of your choice. You can either use one fabric or whatever you decide. I'm using this for my main lining, and then I'm using this lime green fabric as my trim. Some matching thread. I'm using white thread because this is very close to white. When you're sewing with this, you're not going to be able to tell that I use white thread. Try not to overthink little things like that. If you cannot find a thread that is the exact color, you can use something that's close to it. Scissors or thread snippers to cut your threads, loop turner, or you can use a safety pin. Next thing is a canned good or a weight. Of course, you will need our pattern, and the link will be in the description to purchase. And last but not least, you need an acrylic ruler if you are cutting trim. I cut trim. If you're using fold over elastic, you do not need this, but this is going to be your best friend when making your own trim. I highly suggest getting one of these. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut our trim and cut out our fabric. Okay, so now that we have our pieces cut out, the next thing we're going to do is trim the insides of the triangle top. Only the insides. So you're going to trim from here to here, and then here to here. Okay, now the inside of our bikini top is trimmed. The next step is going to be to trim the outside. So this is going to be the strap that goes around the neck. So you want to make sure your trim, your fold over elastic, whatever you're using to trim, you want to make sure it's long enough to go around your neck. So now let's go back to our cover stitch or our sewing machine and stitch the outsides, again leaving the string long enough to tie around your neck. Okay, so we just finished trimming the outside of the bikini, and this is what I was talking about when I said make sure you keep the string long enough so you can tie it around your neck. So the top is pretty much done. Now let's move on to the thong. Here's our thong. The first thing we're going to do is trim the outer edges. Only the outer edges. So I'm going to go back to my cover stitch and I'm going to trim the outer edges up and down, down and up. Okay, now the outer parts of our thong are trimmed. The last part we're going to trim is the top of the thong and then the back of the thong. We want the strings to be extra long because they're going to tie. So you want to make sure that your trim is long. We're going to use a very, very long strip of fabric, at least 60 inches. When you're trimming, you're going to start at the edge of your trim. And then when you reach the middle of your trim, that's when you will add this thong inside. So I'm starting my trim off and I'm going to do it as long as I want. So this is why it's great to cut your trim longer than you think you need it. Okay, so now I'm like eyeballing it. I'm seeing if this is long enough. I want the strings to be really long, so I'm gonna keep going. So now I'm at a point where, okay, I think that's long enough. So I'm gonna add in the thong. Gonna stick it in there. If you have fold over elastic, stick that thong right in that fold over elastic. You want to make sure you're getting the tip in there, or it's not gonna stay inside and you're gonna have to do it over. And now you finish up the other side of the string. This is the side that's gonna tie to the other side. Okay, so you just keep going. So now our top piece is trimmed and we have our long straps on the side. So I just want you guys to understand, because I know it could be a little confusing. I started on this side. If you have fold over elastic, same thing. You stitch it, then you add in the thong. Once you get to the middle, go across the top and then keep going so you get a long string on the other side. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing on the back. We're gonna start our trim. We're gonna add this in the middle, stick it in there, and then we're gonna continue our string, and this is gonna tie. Okay, now I feel like that's long enough. I'm going to add in the back of the thong. And now we finish up the other side. Now, one of the last steps is you do need one long string to go through the bust, underneath the bust to tie around the back. So just do one strap at least 60 inches long. This way they could tie it around the front or in the back or however they wish to tie it. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now we have our long string. And now we have our two triangle tops. They should look like this. Now, one of the last things we're going to do is we're going to create a channel underneath here to put our string through so we can tie it around the back. So all you do is fold the bottom of the triangle top about 1/2 inch and you will straight stitch all the way across. So let's go to our sewing machine and create those channels on both of these. So I'm folding it over 1/2 inch because you want that channel to be big enough to get the string through. Put your needle down and use your straight stitch and just go straight across. And make sure you back stitch a couple times. Just go all the way around. You kind of follow the curve of the triangle. Okay, now we'll do the other one. And this part can be a little tricky at first. When I first used to do these, the lines were not straight. That is absolutely normal. You will get better the more you do it. And that's with anything with sewing, you have to practice. That's how you get better. Okay, so I'm just doing the same thing for this one. Folding it about 1/2 inch. Back stitching. And then I'm just pulling a bit just so it's not lumpy underneath. That's the key to having a flat foundation, is making sure whenever you're going underneath your machine, your fabric is laying flat. And you can never backstitch too much. Okay, so now we have our triangle tops. I did make 2. I made 1 off of camera. So now we're gonna take our strings that we made, those long strings, and we're gonna use our loop turner. Stick our loop turner through one side, go all the way to the other. And sometimes you gotta maneuver it. That's why it's important to make sure that your channel is wide enough, or this part can be really annoying. So I'm just getting it through. Sometimes the hook gets stuck on the fabric, so you have to play around a bit with it. Now I'm taking one of my strings, the end, I'm hooking it on. Or you can use a safety pin, you don't have to use a loop turner. And I'm pulling the string through. And that does happen sometimes. Sometimes you could just go back in and pull it. There we go. You see, I was able to just grab it. Sometimes you might not get that lucky. You gotta pull it out and start all over. These loop turners, they are lifesavers, but sometimes they could be really annoying, especially if your channel is too small, or in this case the hook, you can see it's stuck. That's why the string is not being pulled through. But don't you worry, we gonna get it. Okay, then you just pull it out and make it as even as possible. And you guys have made, smooth this one out the way. I'll do that one off the camera. You guys have made a triangle top. Nice long string so they could wrap it around their waist if they wanted to. And yes, really, really neat. So this is what the top should look like when you're done. I'm gonna put it on the mannequin. I think I'm gonna add some rhinestones, just a little, because you know dancers love some rhinestones, so why not? I was gonna add some along the edge only, but I feel like that'll take away from this beautiful green trim, so I am just going to add some to this part. I'll show you guys how I do that. I use a heat press. It's really easy. So let's go to the heat press. If you guys made it to the end of the video, to this part, this is a little bonus. I was not planning on doing this, but I figure why not. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel for more knowledge, and make sure you guys like the video and comment. Let me know what you guys think. Okay guys, so this is the final look. Show you guys up close the stitching and everything. Very neat. I added my rhinestones, and these are both the same bikini. I just tied the one on the right a little different. This is why I like to keep the strings long on the bikinis. This way if the girls want to tie it around the front, they can. Or if they want to do cute styles like this, they also could do that. You could tie this bikini so many different ways. But let me know in the comments which one you guys like best, the right or the left. I'm feeling the right. So that is the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys learned how to make this triangle top and bottom. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I will of course get back to you all. Any parts of the video that were unclear, or you maybe need a little more clarification, please leave them in the comments, because somebody else may have the same question that you do. And if you want this pattern so you can achieve this look, please click the link in the description box. The pattern comes with both the bottom and the top, so you don't have to purchase two patterns. It all comes together. And I will see you guys in the next video. Another pattern will be coming within a week. The pattern's already set and tested. The only thing left for me to do is record the tutorial, because I wanted to make sure that with any patterns that I release, there will be a follow along video, because when I first started, it was hard for me to read instructions. I'm a visual learner. So one thing with my patterns is they all will have videos, and the videos are free. They are on YouTube, so anyone can use them. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.